I was at the G-Tech Community Stadium, where Brentford took on Everton. It was a game that was live on talkSPORT 2 as well. And it finished 1-1 in this one. How it finished 1-1, I do not know, Cass, because Brentford hit the post twice in the first half, hit the woodwork in the second half as well. I think Brentford had 20 shots in the game, and yet it was one of those matches where I actually thought at one stage, we're not going to get anything out of this. All the kind of chances we were creating, we just could not put it away. And it took until very late on in the game, really, for Brentford to eventually break Everton down and score an equaliser. But I must say, credit to Everton, and I must say also credit to their fans. I don't think I've heard a fan base like them at the G-Tech Community Stadium. They were tremendous. They were loud. There's that song that I think it's called The Spirit of the Blues. I think it's something like that, which is honestly, it's just going to sound awful to say and really naughty, as bear in mind I'm a Brentford fan. But when you hear them sing it, you can't help but want to jig along. It's a really, really catchy tune. But yeah, I thought, especially the first half, I thought Everton were really, really good. They controlled the ball really well. Every time we had it, we lost possession quite easily, even though, as I say, we had a few chances. Thomas Frank thought we should have won it, as I mentioned, with all the chances that we'd had. And maybe based on that, we should have won it, but ultimately it was a draw.
Yeah. Well, second half, you had enough chances. You got too many carpenters. You keep hitting the woodwork, didn't you? Look, one thing Frank Lampard is trying to create a sort of new system. I'll say new system because they brought in Conor Cody and they want to play three at the back, and he now wants more players trusted in playing that way, which enables them to play a slightly different way. But they do concede a lot of chances. Yeah, that is the danger for Everton. Is that when I've watched them, I've come away thinking, especially the last couple of seasons, and look, he's trying to reinvent the club and the type of players they bring in. So he's having to make a lot of change very quickly at Everton. But they've never got away from how many chances they concede. And that's not going to end well for Everton. You know, they go to Leeds in midweek, which is going to be a tricky fixture for them. I mean, look, I was lucky enough as a Gillingham player to play against Everton in the Cup a long, long time ago and played it. It was the first big club I'd ever played at. My first game was Goodison Park, playing an elite club. Yeah. And I remember it like yesterday. It was a fantastic atmosphere. So I've always had that bit of affinity with Everton. And they're a side, and they're a club that have a fan base that you feel like deserves a much better team than they've had in recent years. Yeah. And there hasn't been for a lack of trying. They've invested way too much. They have unfortunately just got a lot wrong.
Yes,
that's
right.
What the problem's been. You've made a lot of bad decisions.
You're absolutely right. And interesting to know what's going to happen as we head towards the end of this window with the future of Anthony Gordon, who scored Everton's goal in this game. And you talked about Martin Ødegaard and his quick feet, didn't you mention him?
Yes.
Anthony Gordon, my goodness, at times he could just dance through some of the players for Brentford.
We did that at Anfield, I mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah, you did. It was terrific.
I really believe sometimes clubs make decisions on players or managers, and they look recruitment teams, and they look at a player and they go, how well he played at Anfield last year. Like, his pace is quite clear. You can run direct, and he's got a great turn of foot, and he'll go past people, and he's fearless, tenacious. He's got a lot of great things in his game. And I think it's a bit unfair everyone say he's not worth this, he's not that. I think Chelsea have seen a very special talent and have decided to go after him. Now, Evertonians won't like it because they recognise he's a really good player and they want to keep one of their own, because fan bases don't like losing their own. They just don't. Sometimes they can sacrifice using someone who's come in, done a great job and letting him go and he's moved on. But when he's one of your own, Evertonians will take that, I think, a little bit differently. Yeah. And he's a terrific footballer.
Oh, no, he was brilliant, especially in that first half. I thought at times he was unplayable.
And the market now. The boy that's joined Newcastle for 60 million.
Alexander Isak.
Yeah, Isak. And now looks a really good talent. But you would never have got near 60 million 2 years ago. He'd have been a £20 million striker. So, where people will go, how can, 60 million for a potential player? Well, potential's reaching the highest value now, isn't it? Proven, in some ways, is not as great as potential now, which I find, I'd always want proven before potential, but I think Anthony Gordon's already proved himself as a really Really, really top talent.
Yeah, well, Thursday is the deadline, and of course we'll find out if he will remain an Everton player by the end of this transfer window. But it was 1-1 draw in the end between Brentford and Everton, and as I mentioned before, the Brentford head coach Thomas Frank will be thinking, how did we not win that game, with the amount of chances and number of times they hit the post and the woodwork. But yeah, points were shared.
The Sunday Sports Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Sunday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.